Hello everyone, I got inspired to make a video and as I am forced to listen to Christmas songs this time of year over and over and over again, uh, my capacity to interpret metaphor uh, cannot help but wonder who is this divine being um, who's going to return to earth to restore peace and harmony and love and joy. Peace on earth and mercy mild. You know what this sounds like? Mother. Now, the oldest religion going into the Paleolithic era was the Mother Goddess. But when civilization began, we started to develop other gods, masculine gods. So when agriculture and industrialization develops, then mother is absent, just like God. And we're waiting for her to return. To bring back peace and love and joy. And why has she become masculine? Well, as we became domesticated, we became narcissistic. Because our mothers weren't around, they were tending to the crops and the animals. As we became agrarian. And so the feminine aspects of the brain did not develop, which is why narcissists have no empathy or compassion. Because according to Ian McGilchrist, which you should definitely look into his videos on YouTube, he will explain to you his research over the course of his life has yielded the result that the right brain only develops when the baby is being nurtured by the mother. And they can see on brain scans the synchronization between the baby's right brain and the mother's right brain. If that synchronization doesn't occur because mother is absent, she's busy, she's distracted, she's working, and then baby's at daycare center, mom's at work, then that feminine aspect of the brain doesn't develop, which is why we live in a sadistic, narcissistic society where no one has any empathy or compassion. We're all stuck on the masculine side. Of course, that's not 100% true. Men are being emasculated and feminized by the educational system, forced as children to do things that are more feminine, like, sit in a circle and listen to the teacher, when they'd rather be, rambunctious and, aggressive and active. Masculine is active, feminine is passive. So the sun is masculine, the moon is passive and feminine. The sun is active, it's producing energy. But the moon is reflective and receives, receptive. And so to sit in a circle at that young age of kindergarten and whatnot is very passive and receptive, listening to the teacher. To sit at a desk and be calm and silent and listen to the teacher. This is feminine. So this is the feminization of men. So to say that the feminine has been lost is probably not true, because men are becoming feminized, while females are encouraged to be, assertive and aggressive in business and achieve and go out there and earn money, and they become, and between not having their right brain, feminine brain developed, and then because of an emotionally unattuned and absent and distracted mother, and then put into an educational system that's competitive and a work environment to be prepared. The educational system prepares us for a competitive work environment. So these are masculine qualities, and it's all about girl power. And all this woke feminism, power has nothing to do with femininity. So this is where women, especially, are being taught to be masculine, and they're being neurologically conditioned in a way to be masculine. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychologist, would have called this possessed by the animus. And of course, animus is a word we use to describe hostility. And women are absolutely hostile these days towards men with this woke feminism. So we didn't have the mother. In Paleolithic times before civilization, the mother goddess was the earth. She wasn't always nice. Sometimes there's a storm or a volcano or, an earthquake. But most of the time, she is this providing, nurturing planet for the human species that provides food. And so God, the goddess, was ever present. the anima mundi, the world soul. And we would simply drink from her breasts and take from the earth what we needed. But as civilization began, gods began to change. They became more masculine, as if the mother goddess was possessed by the Animus, as if her feminine qualities disappeared. And you also see this in Christianity as it evolved over time with the Reformation. The Protestant Reformation, where Mary was stripped of her divinity, the mother goddess. Mary is the last mother goddess, who's really Isis, by the way. And the divine child is Horus, born on December 25th. The god king Horus is the new Pharaoh. You see, Isis would be impregnated magically by her dead husband Osiris. When her star rose on December 25th, when the earth was at its full tilt, this sacred star that was only seen once a year, she would then be impregnated magically by her dead husband Osiris. So it was this birth of Horus, the new Pharaoh, an incarnation of his father Osiris in human form. It was an immaculate conception because she was a virgin. It was a virgin birth. So that's where the divine child and the mother goddess came from. But then the Protestant Reformation stole the mother's divinity. Mary is no longer a goddess. So you see over time how the mother goddess was stripped of her divinity and became masculine. And then she became distant. And we're awaiting the return of God to return to the earth and bring peace, harmony, love, and joy. So mother turned masculine, no longer divine, and then became distant, inaccessible, and we're awaiting her return. So here's how myths develop. The implicit memory in the brain starts recording in the womb. This is why the Mesopotamian creation myths are that the world was born of a watery abyss. That's the womb. And there's a struggle with this Tiamat, this serpent, this female goddess serpent. That's the umbilical cord. When you're in the womb, in the watery abyss, before the world was created, you're struggling against this serpent. But then the serpent is cut, and the world is created out of her. So on the day you're born, the world is created and you emerge from the watery abyss. The land rose up out of the waters, and the serpent was cut, and the world created out of her body. So this implicit memory in the cerebellum of the brain begins to develop, record memory within the womb. The cerebellum makes up 80% of the brain, of the neurons in the brain. Not the volume of the brain, it's the what they call the R complex, just at the base of the spine. So the oldest part of the brain, they call it the R complex because it's reptilian complex. So it's the reptile part of the brain. This implicit memory records, and when you're a baby, it records the experience of having a distant, masculine, unloving, uncompassionate, uncaring war god mother like Yahweh in the Old Testament, who kills mankind with a flood. And in a way, our mothers did commit genocide against our neural development. Because if our brains, 95% of the connections in the brain develop in the first 2 years during the positive interactions with the mother, according to Ian McGilchrist's research, I'm sorry, not Ian McGilchrist, I'm sorry, Allan Schore. I'm so sorry if that's what I've been saying this whole video. Allan Schore, Schore. He's on YouTube. So the right brain connection, the emotionally unavailable mother because her feminine side didn't develop due to narcissistic mother who was unavailable. So we have now an unavailable God. We're awaiting the return. It's a masculine God because lacks femininity. And that was the point of this video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.